Back to the show, everyone. It's Dina Calmetta here. And for today's news, we have a lot to talk about. To say that there are war drums in regards to Russia is an understatement. Things are definitely heating up. Take, for instance, this first report. The Biden administration is ordering 8,500 U.S.-based troops to stand ready to deploy to Eastern Europe, according to the Pentagon. The Defense Department spokesman, John Kirby, said that this is really about getting folks ready to go. He said that they would stand ready in case NATO activates the NATO response force or a deteriorating security environment. He said that there's not a mission per se. This is about Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin wanting to get ahead of the potential activation and making sure that these units have time to prepare. Kirby said that the move was sending a strong message that we're committed to NATO, and we're committed to ensuring that our allies have the capabilities they need in case they need to defend themselves. He stressed that the troops are currently on heightened alert posture and have no plans to deploy at this time. Now, this comes after reports that Biden is finalizing his plans to deploy U.S. forces as Russia poises itself to invade Ukraine. A new report revealed as the president faces backlash from Ukraine for pulling embassy personnel and had considered deploying up to 50,000 American troops. Ukraine's foreign minister, however, blasted Biden on Monday for pulling U.S. embassy personnel and relatives of staff from Ukraine. He stated that while we respect the right of foreign nations to ensure safety and security of foreign nations to ensure safety and security of their diplomatic missions, we believe such a step to be a premature one, in an instance of excessive caution. Now, with that said, it's not only the United States that's pulling from Ukraine, it's Australia and the United Kingdom as well. Top officials in Israel are said to be preparing for a scenario in which they will fly out tens of thousands of Jewish people from Ukraine in the event of a Russian invasion. The representatives from several government offices had met over the weekend to discuss the risk of the Jewish community in the Eastern European nation potentially being caught up in a crime. In a statement issued on Monday, Secretary Jens Stoltenberg said that he welcomed the commitment of additional forces to NATO, vowing that he will continue to take all necessary measures to protect and defend all allies, including by reinforcing the eastern part of the bloc. According to his comments, a handful of member states have made announcements that they will step up their current or upcoming deployments, including Denmark, which is sending a warship to the Baltic Sea and 4 fighter jets to Lithuania in support of NATO's long-standing air policing mission in the region. Spain and France are focusing on southeastern Europe, with Madrid reportedly contemplating dispatching ships to join NATO naval forces and considering sending fighter jets to Bulgaria. Meanwhile, France has expressed its readiness to send troops to Romania under NATO command. The U.S. military has sent the USS Harry S. Truman aircraft carrier strike group to take part in the NATO exercise in the Mediterranean. Amid these ongoing nations of Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania will send U.S.-made anti-tank and anti-aircraft missiles to Ukraine. American shipment of lethal aid to Ukraine arrived on Saturday, less than 24 hours after Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with his Russian counterpart. The embassy said in a tweet that the shipment demonstrates U.S. commitment to helping Ukraine bolster its defenses in the face of growing Russian aggression. The shipment included close to 200,000 pounds of lethal aid, including ammunition for the frontline defenders. All of that said, according to the Kremlin, a huge buildup of Ukrainian forces on the Donbass line of contact indicates that Ukraine is preparing for an attack. He stated, indeed, the Ukrainian authorities are concentrating a huge amount of forces and equipment on the border with the self-proclaimed republics on the line of contact. Indeed, the nature of this concentration points are preparations for offensive operations. And indeed, there is such a threat now. He said that in this case, Moscow would like to see NATO countries urge Ukraine not to even think about the possibility of a military settlement in Ukraine. According to Peskov, the delivery of each unit of weapons to Ukraine inspires them to start military operations in Donbass. He also pointed out that the information hysteria in the West, not Russia, should be blamed for the increased tensions around Ukraine. So now this is coming from a Russian news source. So I guess, according to Russia, if there wasn't a threat before, there certainly is a threat now. Not only due to Ukraine, but because of NATO, the equipment that's being sent to Ukraine, basically the buildup and the hysteria of Western media. It is also being reported today Biden will hold a secure video call with European leaders on Ukraine, according to the White House. Interesting headline. Putin has discussed a strategic partnership with Cuba in a phone call with hundreds of military trains packed with Russian troops are being Belarus. As many as 30 train loads of Moscow's troops have entered Belarus in the past week, with a staggering 200 scheduled for the next few days. Russia's Belarus troop buildup far exceeds what it claims is a military exercise, as a recent similar wargaming project dubbed Zapad amounted to 25 trains over a month for Ukraine, many of them with amphibious attack capability. According to PM Johnson, the intelligence is very clear that there are 60 Russian battle groups on the border of Ukraine, the plan for a lightning war. He also warned that the people of Ukraine would resist any invasion. And from a Russian perspective, it is going to be a painful, violent, and bloody business. I would definitely say that we are in the threats of war right now. And that's not being sensational. That's according to the headlines that I brought you today. That's where we're at right now. In the meantime, it doesn't end. China sent 39 warplanes, mostly fighter jets, into Taiwan's air defense zone on Sunday. It is the second largest daily incursion on record. Now, with that said, U.S. aircraft carrier groups have entered the disputed South China Sea for training. The U.S. Department of Defense said that the two U.S. Navy carrier strike groups had begun operations in the South China Sea on Sunday. The carrier groups will carry out exercises including anti-submarine warfare operations, air warfare operations, and maritime interdiction operations to strengthen combat readiness. So we definitely have a lot happening right now. And if there were ever a time to get your houses in order and get right with Christ, I would say now would be these prophecy events throughout the years. I am not so sure that I have seen us so close to war, especially with Russia and China. And we have to remember, these are nuclear powers. Yes, the United States is also a nuclear power. But what happens when you put a bear in a corner? He's gonna attack. And I think, and I hope it doesn't happen, but I do think if tensions continue to build up as they are right now, we may see that bear attack. And I guess only time will tell. And as always, I will continue to keep you updated.